Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Convention with the Witty Comic Roundup. We're at the halfway point, so let's keep trucking along with kicking things off with Avengers Forever number 15. Where we left off in the Avengers Assemble crossover, which this is the penultimate chapter. More reinforcements arrived. Mephisto from Earth 616 basically killed the rest of the Council of Red, absorbed their bodies, making himself into a massive and gigantic Mephisto to bring about his end goal of destroying the God Quarry. As for the multiversal Masters of Evil, they had largely been routed. Thanos returned to his own time with the bodies of Ghost Goblin, Black Skull, and Killmonger. Doom Supreme, however, had unleashed all of the various Doom variants he had. However, among the reinforcements that showed up was Galactus, who presumably is going after Doom the Living Planet. And the issue begins showing that yes, that is the case. It is noted, however, there are two Avengers sitting on the sidelines. Starbrand, who is not exactly doing great. Every time she uses the Starbrand, she gets old. She ages. And Robbie Reyes, the All Rider, who is having trouble who is having trouble trying to retain his humanity, so to speak. Oh, another reinforcement that showed up was Avengers Mountain, basically being piloted by Ursa Major and Gorilla Man, and with the programming of a Deathlock, making it, well, Deathlock. And so, yeah, Galactus is consuming Doom the Living Planet. A large chunk of the issue is all of the various Avengers saying Avengers Assemble. The Thors, the Steves, Old Man Phoenix, Moon Knight, Avenger Prime, the First Iron Fist, Valkyrie, even Avengers Mountain, who said it just before shooting Giant Galactus. Multiple times, it should be added. But Dark Phoenix goes after Doom Supreme, accusing him of abandoning her. It seems Doom Supreme and Mystique have a thing. We do get a talk we get a scene with Robbie and Starbrand talking about why they're not getting involved in the battle. But it kind of ends with the fact that all the great legacy powers are represented in the battle except for two. And so they have to wade into the battle. And Echo and Old Man Phoenix go after Dark Phoenix. However, a third Phoenix arrives on the scene. The prehistoric Phoenix. Her and Thor get to have a moment as mother and son. And she gives Mjolnir some extra kick to deal with the with what's going on, but it cracks the God Quarry, and Mephisto gets just a tiny touch of the power. So his plan is not to remake existence, but rather to destroy it, all of it. And the issue ends with Avenger Prime once again saying, "Avengers assemble." Like as I said, this is the next to last part of the crossover. But so far it's been pretty tight. I like the focus. I did really like the focus largely being on. Well, yes, you have all those the little battle, all the stuff with the battle, but you get that moment with Robbie and Starbrand discussing the troubles they've been going through with their recent changes. It's been an enjoyable crossover. I know there are detractors to Aaron's Avengers run, and even I do have my gripes, but overall, Avengers Assemble has been an enjoyable crossover, and I've enjoyed Aaron's run. Moving on though to our next book, we have Avengers War Across Time, number 3. Where we left off, Sindri, king of Nidavellir, had stumbled through the Doom's Time platform, which was being kept in the Baxter Building, and attacked Midgard and took Mjolnir. So the Avengers deal with Sindri. Mostly Thor deals with him, but as Sindri has thrown Mjolnir through a building, and the Avengers are dealing with evacuating a building as well as making sure everyone nearby is safe. But Sindri is defeated, but for the moment. However, he burrows through the ground, which is sealing up behind him. Sindri comes upon the Lava Men, and they can see his power. While the future Kang is trying to find the Avengers at their weakest point. Though one of his lackeys, Baltag, has explained that's not possible to do. The Avengers are discussing recent events, dealing with Kang as well as how Sindri came to Earth, came to be on Midgard. Caps points out that Kang should be their priority. However, there's a massive explosion from outside, apparently volcanic. It's the Lava Men led by Sindri, and once again, Sindri takes Mjolnir. Only this time he heads back to Nidavellir, or rather, he goes back into the lava and says that he'll happily give give Mjolnir back to Thor if Thor can get him back to Nidavellir. So, and the picture is taken by a photographer. I'd get it's not Peter Parker, clearly. I'm thinking it might actually be might be at least intended to be Phil Sheldon from Marvels, which ends up on the cover of on the front page of the Daily Bugle, and so Kang in the future sees this and realizes that okay, he's found his point to go after the Avengers. And that is where the issue ends. This is a fun miniseries. Alan Davis's art, the way he draws the Avengers in their Silver Age outfits, it feels evocative. His art style feels evocative of Kirby's style, which is actually very fitting, obviously. But for a story set in the early days of the Avengers. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Captain America Symbol of Truth, number 11. Where we left off, the fighting in Mahanda had come to a head, and it seemed as though, and the White Wolf entered the fray himself, intending to take on Captain America. And so, the issue is largely the fight between the two of them. White Wolf gets a few solid hits in, but Cap's able to take him down and wails on him pretty massively until Nomad stops him. And manages to talk him down. But resistance reinforcements have arrived, and they're going to turn Mahanda into, and the resistance forces intend to honor the late Prime Minister's goals for the country. Falcon's going to be getting treatment for what's happened to him, and in Harlem, Sam and Misty are sitting on a rooftop having a beer, and they find out this time, yeah, it's actually a date, as the two of them kiss. There's a pro-peace rally happening on the street, and Nomad and Sam go down and take a look at it, with Nomad deciding that maybe it's time for him to get in touch with his dad again. His dad being Steve Rogers. With Sam telling him that, when you do, tell him I said hey. Tell Steve I said hey. And that's the issue. That's where the issue ends, leading into the Captain America Cold War one-shot, which will be the upcoming crossover between the two Captain America titles. I like the Pax Mahanda story. It was good. I'm digging the Symbol of Truth series all overall. Looking forward to Cold War. I was a little surprised there wasn't. I expected, honestly, there to be some kind of just like maybe just a single panel of the Outer Circle discussing the event, what's happened in Mahanda, but oh well. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Captain Marvel number 47. Where we'd left off, Captain Marvel and her team of her allies, including a handful of X-Men, had split up, with Spider-Woman, Psylocke, and Captain Marvel going to find Binary, while Polaris, Wolverine, Hazmat, and Gambit went to find Rogue. Hazmat let off a massive toxic blast with her powers, while Polaris Wolverine sliced her way through a whole bunch of the Brood. I recall Polaris actually propelled Wolverine on that one. So, and Captain Marvel and her team found Binary imprisoned by the Brood. So, Hazmat's looking at the after effects of the toxin blast. Wolverine's healing. And they managed to release Rogue with Wolverine giving Rogue a hug and making sure that they get some skin-to-skin contact so that Rogue can can utilize Wolverine's healing ability. Turns out that there's a slight problem in releasing Binary, though. Basically, while Carol can do it, someone has to go into the machine in Binary's place, and so Carol opts to do so. Basically saying, get to the rendezvous point and figure things out. They split up with. Well, first off, we find out how it is that Rogue ended up in the whole situation. She got she was coming back from someone unrelated, got a distress call from Binary, passed it along to Carol, and went to help Binary and got captured by the Brood. Explaining that the Brood Emperor, because she absorbed she could understand them for a bit. The Brood Empress has big plans. Blames the Kree for creating the King Egg that forced her and her hive under Brood's control. They were able to break free of him somehow. Had to do with dreams, so what Nightmare explained in the last week's issue of X-Men. They still believe that Carol is the key to destroying the Kree once and for all, and the Brood would have impregnated some. The brood that they impregnated some of them with are something new. No longer satisfied with simply gestating their young and superpowered people to create a single brood with powers, they want an infinite army of brood with superpowers. Hazmat and Wolverine are seen as exceptions because they're seen as liabilities. But as that portion of the team heads back towards Jess, Quanon, and Binary, the suggestion is made to split up, with Hazmat volunteering to take Rogue back to their ship, back to the Proud Star, in part because Rogue is definitely weakened, and even Gambit points out that she's favoring her right side, so yeah. But there was a reason Hazmat volunteered to be the one to take her back. Namely, she'd heard through the grapevine about what happened when Rogue's powers manifested. And she had something similar. Her powers manifesting caused something similar, and she just needed someone to, and she was and people were afraid she'd become a villain, and, well, so she just needed someone that knew where she was coming from to talk to about the whole thing. But Psylocke and Spider-Woman are about neck deep in Brood until they get knocked out, and well, it seems the Brood Empress is there and admiring the fact that she has Carol imprisoned, and that is where the issue ends. This Brood crossover, the Brood story. This Brood story's been a fun read, and I'm digging the fact that they're crossing over with the X-Men. So yeah. Moving on though to our last book, we've got Hellcat #1. Where we last saw Hellcat was where we last saw her was in She-Hulk, but last we saw a story focusing on Hellcat was in the Iron Man Hellcat annual last year. She'd returned home, kind of taking some time away from Tony after, just with everything that Tony had been through when he became the Iron God. So, Patsy Walker is wondering if she's good or bad. We get some flashbacks to when her father left, but she's also been arrested, seemingly for murder. The person she killed was probably torn apart. And she can't remember if she did it or she doesn't think she did, but, well, she's not sure. We had a flashback to how she met Sterling Grantham, apparently well, how it is they started to see one another. He was an ex of her friend Hetty. They'd been separated for they broke up for over a year previously. So, but Patsy talked a bit. At the station, she asked for a lawyer. We get some of the Patsy Walker comics, some pages from those. Her and Hetty both being voted as the head of the Honor Society, and also Reality, which was Patsy selling, writing papers for people, generally about $50 a head. Though for Hetty it was $75. There's also a co-worker she has at the burner place she works at, who she writes, she'll do papers for free. Just, you know, good kid. But Patsy's released and returns home. Currently goes to her mother as well as Hetty, who is quite displeased with the fact that she might have killed Sterling. And the stuffed rabbit that was a major plot point of the Iron Man Hellcat annual story is watching as Hetty drives off. But Patsy does some self-medicating. Reflects on the fact that some of the ways she's doing so would probably not sit well with Tony. She's drinking. But she also, the way that Sterling was killed, she knows one person who could do something like that. So she goes to find them. First she investigates the scene and she finds something even stranger. Basically, and so she goes to a psychiatric ward where Rick Sheridan is currently staying. Rick Sheridan is the human host, so to speak, for the entity known as Sleepwalker, who does have some enforcement of dealing with crimes that involve dreams. And what Patsy found at the scene was the badge that gives him said authority. And Patsy asked Rick what he's doing in a psych ward, and he explains that Sleepwalker has had his badge revoked, pending an investigation. Apparently, the council, or the larger collective, thinks that maybe he killed Sterling Grantham. When Patsy asked why they think that, apparently Rick was jealous of Grantham and is in love with Patsy. And the issue ends with another flashback to when her dad left. Her dad saying that sometimes it feels like the devil has his hand on her shoulder. Interesting start. I'm glad I'm happy to see Sleepwalker. I got some fond memories of the few issues of his 90s series that I read, so the character was always intriguing to me. So anyway, that's going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.